a little cold today, so I got my hat and my little sweater on. How are y'all? My husband forgot to bring firewood in from the deck, and I really don't. I can carry maybe one piece at a time, and I was too lazy. So I'm just sitting being cold, figuring, what the hell, right? I'll go out, I'll get a fire started, and we'll go from there. So let me say hi to all you guys. Last minute today, because if I didn't do this, I would go crazy. We're going to read from this book. It's really good. And it is apropos, some of it is apropos to our situation. So before I get started, let me say hi. Oh my gosh! Hello! Thrilled. That's George. I know it's George. George, I was going to read you, but I'm going to read you next. I think that's you. I'm not sure. Or you 99 balloons. And Human, how are you? This is great to see you guys here with me. You have no idea how this is important. I think it is important to our community. And yeah, it is important to our community. And it's early. I don't usually go on this early. I'm not going to live Facebook or anything like that. This is just between you and I. I mean, we have so much going on, and I could actually sit here and whine, do a collapsitarian whine, which I won't, because we all have the same thing going on, problems, issues, that's life. But I want to start this, and all right, so I think people are joining us, and it's really great. It's great to see you too, Groot. It's early out there in California. And Human and Zox, and good, this is great. This is wonderful. Ranter, how are you? Nose picking allowed from now on. Oh no, you'll have to do that by yourself in the bathroom with a tissue. So listen, all you guys that like to flick out the car window. All right. I know my father did. It was really gross. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hey. Hey. Damn it, late again. Max out your credit cards for Bernie. I did. Well, I'll tell you what. The way I'm feeling today and the shit that's going on in my personal life and financial life is just out of bounds. But I'm going to read because this is a great community. And listen, today, I got to put on my glasses. This is the telltale sign that at my age, finally, for the first time, I actually need to have a little help because Mother Nature is telling my eyes, along with a lot of other parts, that it's time for the glasses. So here we go. I mean, I think now I'm officially, definitely in the group of people that are could die from COVID-19, high risk. I'm definitely in the group. So here we go. John, nice to see you too. Zox, Tinker, Keith. Hi, Keith. Hi from Australia. Awesome, Keith. Love you. A lot of love out to you. And Brian, a lot of love out to all of you. Okay, let's get going and let's hope people join us today. So here we go. This is a good book. And I've been reading it. It takes me forever to read anything. It takes me forever to do anything anymore. But I still have to try. So here we go. The upside of, oh, wait, ecocentric homestead, you're not having a good day? Well, actually, I'm not. That's why I'm here to do this. Because my day was ruined this afternoon about 2:30 when I got a call from someone who told me some bad news. And I'll tell you all about something else later. Let me do this because I could talk to you guys and just talk to you and not do anything. But this is good. The upside of Armageddon. Man is at bottom a dreadful wild animal. We know this wild animal only in the tame state called civilization, and we are therefore shocked by occasional outbreaks of its true nature. But if and when the bolts and bars of the legal order once fall apart and anarchy supervenes, it reveals itself for what it is. That's a quote by Arthur Schopenhauer. Now, we go to from Arthur Schopenhauer, we go back to Christopher. When civilization falls away, we catch a glimpse of human nature in the raw. When the authoritarian structures supposedly protecting us from our dark Hobbesian nature collapse into dust and chaos more often than not, all heaven breaks loose. In a paradise built in hell, the extraordinary communities that arise in disaster, Rebecca Solnit, and I have a story about her, documents how human beings from various cultures respond to calamity. Do you want to hear the story I have about Rebecca now, or should I keep reading? I'll tell you afterwards. I think it's kind of funny. Look at her and look at me. But anyway, she's doing well. Rebecca Solnit documents how human beings from various cultures respond to calamity, not by looting, but by lending a hand. After reviewing the sociological literature and hundreds of personal accounts from disaster survivors, she concluded that, quote, the image of the selfish, panicky, or regressively savage human being in times of disaster has little truth in it. Or to it. Research accumulated over decades of studying how people behave in earthquakes and floods and bombings shows that our behavior is the opposite of what the NPP, which is the narrative of perpetual progress. Don't forget that. The narrative of perpetual progress. It tells us to expect. Disaster is sometimes a door back into paradise, says Solnit. The paradise, at least, in which we are, who we hope to be, do the work we desire, and are each other's sisters and brothers' keeper. Unquote. All right. While this might sound like Hallmark card kitsch, Solnit's conclusions are dangerously subversive. Wow. They invert the mainstream neo-Hobbesian narrative concerning human nature and the paternalistic institutions marketed to us as protection from each other and from our uncivilized impulses. Remember, the NPP, narrative of perpetual progress, has insisted for thousands of years Homo homini lupus est. Latin. Homo homini lupus est. And I'm probably botching it all up. I did not take Latin. Except for I didn't take Latin. All right. Man is wolf to man. But that's doubly wrong. Canids are among the most socially sophisticated, cooperative animals, and the history of human behavior in disaster shows that we are far from brutally, if you've never read the book, far from, sorry, this is where I screwed the page up when I was reading it the first time. Far from brutally selfish creatures who turn on one another the second we think we can get away with it. Flipping the disaster narrative 180 degrees. Solnit found that, quote, everyday life in most places is a disaster, that disruptions sometimes give us a chance to change, unquote. Got that? Up is down, black is white. And earthquakes, tsunamis, and landslides aren't the true disasters. Rather, they're disruptions to the ongoing mundane disaster that most of us call normal life. This radical view originated with one of the founders of disaster studies, an American sociologist named Charles E. Fritz. At the end of World War II, Fritz studied the effectiveness of the Allies' bombing campaigns on the German people. From there, he enrolled in the University of Chicago, becoming a director of the Disaster Research Project in 1950. Far from being some kind of free thinker, Fritz is a central figure in disaster studies, and his conclusions represent standard thinking among disaster sociologists. Fritz found that natural and man-made disasters liberated surviving victims from an oppressive normalcy. Quote, the traditional contrast between normal and disaster almost always ignores or minimizes the recurrent stresses of everyday life and their personal and social effects. He wrote, quote, it also ignores a historically consistent and continually growing body of political and social analysis that points to the failure of modern societies to fulfill an individual's basic needs for community identity. Unquote. Fritz's description of spontaneously arising human interaction in disaster bears striking similarity to normal hunter-gatherer life in that the widespread sharing of danger, loss, and deprivation produces an intimate, primarily group solidarity. How's that working for us now? This sense of community brings together individual and group needs, providing a feeling of belonging and a sense of unity rarely achieved under normal circumstances. Unquote. Disasters, Fritz concluded, may be a physical hell, but they result, however temporarily, in what may be regarded as a kind of social utopia. Unquote. Our primordial cravings for intimate community are thwarted and twisted by the institutions that constitute civilized life. From Rat Park to Monkey Hill to Rikers Island, social conditions can either liberate a social creature's cooperative nature or twist it into confusion, anger, or violence. Fritz points to the elements of the social utopia. Disasters survivors report feelings of group solidarity, intimate communication, and physical and emotional support. Is there any question that those feelings are lacking in our normal lives and that we yearn for them with a desperation that warps our thoughts and behavior? We declare fanatical allegiance to arbitrarily chosen sports teams or to street gangs that live and die over the sacred color of their hankies. We clamor towards tribalism. Anything that promises group identity, mutual protection, and even a faint echo of belonging. We are starving for what our ancestors ate every day of their lives. If scientists who study human behavior in disasters have determined that people don't generally panic and turn nasty in real-world crises, why is that storyline repeated again and again in the media? Disaster sociologist Kathleen Tierney, who directs the University of Colorado's Natural Hazard Center, points to, quote, elite panic, and highlights the political function of the narrative of perpetual progress. NPP. Elites fear disruption of the social order and challenges to their legitimacy. She says, does that sound like our election in the United States right now? I would say. The elite panic is characterized by fear of social disorder, fear of the poor, minorities, and immigrants, obsession with looting and property crime, and willingness to resort to deadly force and actions taken on the basis of rumor. The indoctrination starts early. In 2005, Time magazine named William Golding's Lord of the Flies one of the 100 best English language novels published since 1923. And it's been required reading in many American schools since the 1960s. Even if you've never read the book, the odds are you're familiar with the story of what happened to poor Piggy at the hands of some boys gone feral on a deserted island. Lord of the Flies is cited as if it were anthropological evidence that children will become vicious little monsters if adults aren't around to keep them in line. Hobbes for kids. The famous fictional account of what would happen if a group of children was left to their own devices outside the protective embrace of civilization is belied by what did happen when a group of boys was swept up in a storm and shipwrecked on a deserted island in 1977. They didn't break into factions, smear war paint on their faces, or kill the fat kid, as anyone who read Golding's novel would have expected. Instead, they agreed to stick together, moving about the island only in pairs to ensure nobody would get lost or suffer an accident alone. They organized a rotating system so that some of them were always awake to watch for passing ships. 15 months later, the two boys were spotted um, by a passing boat, and they were all rescued. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? The end of our exploring. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. I'm just gonna, I haven't been on that long, right? 60 minutes. Okay, listen, I'm gonna add, because I think this is really a great book to read. And if we did start that book club where we could mail to each other, now that we can't really go out much, books that we've read, name, address, and just a little postage or whatever, maybe we could have a book club if you can't get it online. Anyway, I wish, we have a huge, we're all over the world, right? All of this family. And that last discussion, that last piece was like what we are. Stick together, people, stick together, but we can't stick together now physically, can we? Because he has no mention that I know of about pandemics in the book unless I missed it. But most of us, I'm going to read you the beginning so you can kind of get an idea of the flavor of the whole thing. Most of us have a sense that something's not right. Balmy winter days, catastrophic fires and flood, a world at constant war, political systems in disarray. Some misinformation is repeated so often it acquires the sheen of obvious truth. Civilization is humankind's greatest accomplishment. Progress is undeniable. You're lucky to be alive here and now. Well, maybe we are. Maybe we aren't. In Civilized to Death, Christopher Ryan counters the idea that all progress is inherently good, arguing that the progress defining our age is analogous to an advancing disease. Where are we now? And I'm touching my nose, it itches. But I've been in quarantine for a freaking year. Prehistoric life, of course, was not without serious threats and disadvantages. Many babies died in infancy. A broken bone, infected wound, snake bite, or a difficult pregnancy could be disastrous. Many babies, but ultimately, Ryan asks, were these pre-civilized dangers really much worse than modern scourges such as car accidents, social isolation, worsening national disasters, and rising deaths by cancer, suicide, and cardiovascular disease? And I will add this new COVID-19 unknown, the unknown. The lives of our foraging forebears, it turns out, were far from nasty, brutish, and short, despite what we've been led to believe. On the contrary, today's enlightened societies have much to learn from our primitive ancestors. So at a time when our health, our society, and our planet all feel increasingly imperiled, an accurate understanding of our species' true nature is vital to a clear sense of the ultimate value of civilization and its costs. In Civilized to Death, Ryan argues that we should look back to the past to navigate our way to a better future. And of course, you can get it on Amazon, or I think we don't want to promote Amazon, do we? And that's going to be a big hard drag. And I'm actually freezing. That might be a big hard drag, right? Because those of us that are stuck in, like I'm a kind of a stuck in, just by the fact that I have a body that keeps me that way. But I thought this was really apropos. And my little story about Becky Solnit, when I was a kid, I grew up in Marin County, California. But I was originally from New York. I mean, I actually, as a little kid, I grew up in Yonkers in the Bronx, and we moved from Yonkers. We moved to California, and that was a really interesting part of my life. But oh, the natural progressives here. Hi, hon. Um, Rebecca Solnit was actually the daughter of my parents' best friends in California. So all of us kids, she had, I think, two or three brothers and her. All of us kids would be stuck together because our parents would want to go or they would come over to our house, whatever. Well, I hadn't seen her for a long time because I moved back to New York when I was in seventh grade, which was absolutely horribly right beginnings or was it in seventh grade. It was horrible change because the kids in New York were awfully horrible to me as compared to California because I came back from California a little hippie girl, and these kids weren't quite there yet. I guess it was maybe sixth grade. So when I was 18, I went out to California with my girlfriend Donna, and we were deadheads. I was a big deadhead. And our parents put us on a Greyhound bus and said, Toodaloo. And the Greyhound bus took us to, where did we go? I think we were in Southern California. We got dropped off in Southern California, and then we decided to hitchhike to Oregon, and we did the whole East Coast Dead tour that year. In fact, I will date myself, but I saw the Dead at Winterland for their last show at Winterland ever, because that was the New Year's Eve show at Winterland, and it was insane. But to do that, since it was in San Francisco, me and Donna needed a floor to sleep on, and it ended up we were sleeping on Terry's floor. Terry Solnit, Rebecca's mother, and unbelievable. But we were going to the Dead. Becky was going to the Tubes. She was all dressed in black goth shit, and we were wearing our everybody remember Olaf daughter's clogs. We were wearing our clogs and our Levi's and our little black leather jackets and our little tops. So cute. And she's all in black. And we didn't necessarily connect. Unfortunately, I wish I did connect. At that time, I was kind of like, I really didn't know that scene. I was a different scene. I knew kids, I guess, but it wasn't quite. I think it was like when Elvis Costello first came out. I think he was one of the ones that really made me understand that side of the music scene, because I was just New Riders of the Purple Sage, and my whole life was going around bikers and musicians and knowing people, and that was my life. I was very poor, and I'm going to tell you something. I've gone full circle. I am completely officially on the poverty line. It's not funny, but it is funny. Full circle. So reading that book and knowing what we're going through today, it's a pandemic, but Jennifer and I talked about climate change and Corona and mobilization, and why can't we mobilize? Why is it so that we mobilize for this when climate change is killing thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people? And even then people say, but you can't see it, it's slow. And I say, well, that's bullshit. What do you mean it's slow? We're seeing Australia wasn't slow. Species annihilation it wasn't slow. We saw the koalas almost get wiped out. They probably are. We saw Friends, Henry Holt, that follows us and follows Kevin. He, his whole place he had to evacuate in Australia. So we're not seeing climate change destroy. Well, of course we are. Anyway, Ed, you aspire to be at the poverty line again? No, it's not fun. Man, it's not fun. I was a spoiled brat. I mean, geez, I worked hard. I was a spoiled brat. Now it's like, wow. It's like full circle is kind of wild in your life, but stress, um, other things, medications. God, I'm on this one medication I don't want to take, but I have to, and it makes me, I don't know, I'm determining it. It makes my face blow up. I think it's round, medicine round. But I'm not dead yet, and who the hell knows what'll happen. I'm going to stay alive until whatever comes knocking at my door. So thank you, Ed, for saying that. And how are you, Bio? Let's see what you guys are talking about. Oh, Veg is here. Your furnace guy says, what's a terrible product? Uh-oh, and Jean is here. Hi, Jean. TCR Galaxy, Anthony Davis, Philip Stone. Hi, Philip. I hope you're feeling all right. And I hope you guys liked that little piece. I really do. And I think that now that, the whole world, this is a good one. It really is. It's a good one too. And you know what? I think he's got it. I think he narrates it too, the whole book. I think you can get it on audio. So that's one. And I want to come back every week. I do the thing with Jennifer. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I do the thing with Jennifer, which is great. But I miss doing this. I miss the book reading and the one-on-one with all of you that are here. So I'm glad you came. And hopefully we'll do a show on Friday or Saturday, if we can get it together, because it's a lot of going back and forth. And is everyone feeling okay? And who's are we talking about the natural progressive? I was I went to part of the show. Oh my God, I'm really oh, hi, Martyr and Jean. I love Jean. I'd like to take a nice trip and never come back and go see Jean and just never come back. In a way, I told my lawyer, and she says, don't do this yet. I said, you know what? I want to just sell everything. Sell the house. Just sell it. Just get out. Sell everything. I really am at that. I don't know. Maybe I'm at that point. But I have this little piece of heaven here. Veg says he's been poor all his life. It's not that bad. Well, I was never a wealthy person. I just had a salary and a job that afforded me shit that I wanted, like jewelry and crap I wanted that's useless now. And it's hard to get rid of. I like accoutrements. I like baubles. I like jewelry. I go nowhere. Okay, Veg, I will. I don't go out. I've been home for a year. After my neck surgery, where's the scar? After the neck surgery is when I began to go completely downhill. My spine is totally fucked up. You guys have heard this a million times, so it doesn't matter. It's just what. But we want to do good stuff. We really do. And we compliment. Everybody compliments us. Natural Progressive, Kevin, it's Collapse Chronicles. We compliment each other, and now I suppose with having to quarantine, sort of stay home. Well, my husband's not. It's going to be a little different. We're going to learn a little different things. Jean says, Sandy, come and live here with me. Not fancy, but peaceful and beautiful. No shopping. I've stopped shopping. I have enough shit. I shopped enough. I only buy the crap we need. Vitamins, things to live. All this stuff was when I was working. I don't shop anymore. Oh my God. I need nothing. I don't want the stuff. It's terrible. It's just hard to get rid of. Bio says, my poorness has cost me years living with my parents, missing out on the one woman I will always think about besides my mom. So yes, poverty's a bitch. I'm sorry. I would like to do something like what Chris does someday. I don't know if I have the internet capacity. I have Zoom. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to be on anymore. I put a poll up in our community, and I don't think I want to talk about it right now. My internet's expensive being rural. None of us none of us on the channel, we're just friends, you know. I mean, I don't expect anything from anybody. This is my hobby. Um, Brian says, true. Yes, I'm not. You're right. Illness, hunger, and death. And a lot of it is very easy to happen in the United States. Chris says she's self isolating. She's totally okay with it. I have been. I mean, for a year because of pain, you know, being home and not going out much, but ecocentric homestead. I get to breathe fresh air and walk into the forest, grow a garden. I'm rich. See, that's how I feel now. And I'm telling you who I was. Because when I worked and had money, I could spend it and I wasn't conscious of a lot of things. It made me feel good. I will never apologize for the things I did or the person I was. I've reinvested. We all have, probably. I've reinvented myself several times in life. And I think that's the best thing you can do. Ved says he wants to hear my life story. Well, maybe I'll write a book. Maybe I will. Because I certainly have seen things others have not. And I'm not saying, you know, and maybe others would never want to put it that way. Echoes of not, life is full of suffering. No escaping the fact, but we try to remain positive. I do. And it's not easy because I came on one night, what was it, last week or the week before, fell apart and deleted it. But that was alcohol induced, and I don't do that. I had a couple of shots of tequila, and I don't know who watched, what watched. I don't remember half the things I said, and I deleted it. And I can't use the channel that way if it's going to be like more professional. I know that. But, and what did Anthony say? You're a hippie from the 60s and you'll never fucking change. Okay, well, I'm a tattooed biker bitch from the get-go. And I guess I haven't changed underneath from that, but you can have facades in life and you can have a professional facade and work on it and through education and learn. It's easy, you know, if you put your mind to it. And I figured I never thought I could be anything. So we all probably were something. Oh, you like my Harley hat? Thank you. Yeah. What am I sipping? This is water from my reverse osmosis system with a packet of a vitamin C supplement because I'm supplementing. I supplement, but I happen to get this liquid one because it tasted like orange. And I liked it, and it doesn't have any additives in it. And of course, that whole tequila night is a memory. And it was not a good night. So I know, Jean, you said I was okay that night, but I was not okay that night. The only thing I do, and, you know, I have the medical cannabis, which is going to go out the door when I finish this because it's done. It's very expensive. It's not covered under the feds. It won't cover it. So the insurance companies won't cover it because in the United States, it's not legal federally. It's water, reverse osmosis with a package of vitamin C stuff. So, anyhow, guys, hi, Keo. I look beautiful. Oh my God. I've been feeling so, yeah, I do take a multivitamin. I do lots of stuff. And Chris, you're wonderfully honest all the time. See, we need each other. Here we are, over half an hour. It's been wonderful. I was reading the book, trying to have a little hour of reading, and thought this would be just so great. It was apropos to what I am feeling and reading and thinking, what's going on in our society. And I thought, wow, I'm going to come on, and here we are. Here we are. So I thank you for coming. Of course, I'm not gonna stay much longer because it's hard to. Vanessa Kitty, she learned how to roll cigars those summers. Ooh, that must have been a good conversation you guys are having. Tequila. Oh wait, Tequila, the memories from harvesting shade tobacco in the 70s. Yes, you, not for me, but you. I know that you have this person, Vanessa Kitty, you have a pretty cool background. I think she's pretty interesting. Hi, Alaric. Coronavirus bomb to hit in 3 weeks as college spring break comes back from a week in Florida. Break party. And yeah, well, I won't be going near any kids. And my daughter's working from home and she's not a kid anymore. She's 31. Next week, I have to go out one day and I'm going right to this one appointment. And then I'm going to see my daughter. And we'll just spray my feet, my shoes from any crap I might step in. We're already laughing. I mean, not about the whole thing. Oh, because I didn't tell you guys this. A close family member, which I will not say who it is just in case, because I don't want to violate my family's privacy. But a close family member came in contact with someone and was exposed. And it was kind of scary because they live near that cluster break in New York State. And she's high risk. But what's frustrating is that they couldn't get a test and they have to have all three symptoms. So she's high risk, but she has to wait till she gets sick to get the test. And even trying to get a drive-through test was impossible. And I just think that, okay, so someone like her who's high risk, you got to wait to get sick so you could get a test and then what? Fucking die? I mean, she's only like 56, so it's kind of sucky. It's starting to hit homes. The thing is, she's in quarantine, and I guess she's got like 3 more days, and then the 3 more days, then it's okay. I guess she's past the tipping point. I don't know. Mm. I don't know what the tipping point is, guys, but anyway. So, looks to me like you're all kind of being quiet, and I really appreciate you coming. If anybody has any comments, take my poll so I can at least start out what I'm asking you that way, and I'll make a decision with the team on what I want to do. It's something I might need to do for the channel so that we can stay, all right? And Veg, I'll send you my address. And Alaric, okay, wait, Alaric's always got these ones that are just like you want to run and start crying. Sunlight, wait, maybe this is good. Sunlight UVC kills coronavirus. Expose your clothes and shoes to sunlight before going indoors. Sunlight UVC. Really? Well, it couldn't hurt, but you don't want to get too, comfortable, right? Because we don't know. Brian says he took a class from OSHA. You all should have that training before you try to, CPP or wear a mask. Is it online? Is it an OSHA training online? Because I know that we used to have to train people, university, for lots of things for OSHA. Well, thank you, Chris. She took my poll. Don't forget, here, now I'll tell all of you, Kevin's been doing a lot of live streams on Black Bear News. Check him out. And the poll is linked. It's under community, under the community tab, I believe. It's community tab. Yeah, I think so. On the page. I don't know if I can see it. If I can see it here, let's see if I get to the channel on my phone. Okay, here it is. It is right here. Can you see? Oh, I think I think my green screen's going to not make you be able to see it, but it says community and it's under that in YouTube. I haven't even addressed the Facebook yet, We've passed 13,000 likes and what is it? Oh, I don't know, almost 14,000 followers there. And God, I hardly do anything there anymore. Shout out to Jonathan O. He is the editor-in-chief, man. This guy is amazing. And there is going to be a video featuring all of Jonathan's comics that he's done, his dark comics that he's done for Environmental Coffee House. He's dark, but he's good. But you have to have that sense. You have to open yourself up before you get involved. So we'll do it this way. And I might want to bring him on to talk. He might not come on with me to talk this way. But, all right, guys. I'll finish with this. Remember, no nose picking and sharing the contents. That is the best way to end. No nose picking and sharing the contents. All right? Stay safe, everybody. Wash your hands, like everybody says. Wash your hands. Do all that stuff. Stay stoned. Don't drink a lot. I don't think it's good for anybody, but, I will never tell anybody what to do. Obviously, I can't. And that's that. So, Brian, did you let us know 3 people to properly prepare for PPE? You know what? I'll look for a link and I'll try to stick it up here because it's time to go. Thanks for coming. Who's on tonight? I don't know about the Doomosphere. Okay, so don't forget Collapse Chronicles, Black Bear News, The Natural Progressive, Chris, and of course me and Jennifer, and meteorologist Nick Humphrey, Torstein Vidal, Green Pill TV. There's a whole list of everybody. The Pink Barrio, don't miss him. He's got great data. I like that. He takes the time to do the data, and I more take the time maybe to read the book. All right, and Kyo Ravana, thank you for being here from Alaska. This is like, woohoo! All right, guys. Mwah. Peace. I love you. Oh. Okay.